Mr. Secretary, I mentioned in my opening statement that BOEM is holding a lease sale in Cook Inlet this morning. It prompts discussion about potential for the Chukchi and the Beaufort. The previous administration issued a draft 5-year plan for leasing in the OCS January 29th of 15. It included areas in the Arctic OCS, one sale in Chukchi, one in the Beaufort. 10 days after the election, on November 18, the administration issued its 5-year plan, which of course excluded these areas. So, question for you this morning. The budget indicates that there will be resources to rewriting this 5-year plan, which we appreciate. Can you give me any kind of an update? You have to rewrite the entire plan. You can't simply amend the existing one. So where do you see this in terms of timelines, in terms of resources that will be required to process this review? Do you have an update for me on where we are with the 5-year lease sales?
I do. We looked at rearranging it rather than having the standard everything in sequence, which pushes the time out. We can do things simultaneously in many cases. So we think the process would be about 2.5 to 3 years, which would be less than the 5 years. We're taking the first step, which is the Federal Register asking notice for information and comments. It's going to be a very transparent process. In regards to the lease sale that's coming up, there's a gap of trust that has occurred. I'll give you an example in the North Shore. When Shell commits $3.5 or $3.1 billion to a lease, and the Fish and Wildlife moves them out to unproductive waters, and they dig a dry hole, there's a little lack of trust there. When compensatory mitigation forces companies to pay millions of dollars of money to get a permit outside of that permit process, there's a little bit of breach of trust in that. And so we have to make sure that as partners, we hold industry accountable, that we're transparent in what we're doing. But there's a reason why our revenue went from $18 billion to $2.6, and not all of it is oil and gas price, although it's some of it. A lot of it is we weren't a good partner. Our rules became arbitrary. Permits were difficult to deal with. At the last minute, something else would be thrown in, compensatory mitigation. In some circles, it's known as extortion. That had a real chilling effect in our ability to be good partners. And I'm working very hard at making sure that industry is held accountable, that we're transparent, but also we need to work with people rather than work against.
Appreciate that.